Yes, I agree. And would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, and I would start sharing my screen. Yes, I think you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, wait, I have to start. And I will close this window up here. Oh, just a second, sorry. All right. Okay, well then, hello everybody. I welcome you to my short little input on Switzerland. So we call it Schweiz, as you can see it here. I'm really excited to host this lesson. I myself grew up in Switzerland, and I would love to share something about my country and about the way we speak. We can start off with a little itinerary. I will talk a little bit about myself, and then I would like to hear something about you, so we can have, a little icebreaker. Moving on, I will introduce you to some Swiss phonetics, not all, but I mean, you have to, there are little differences, so you have to be briefed for that. So we can move on to our little Swiss German crash course, which will only be basics, but I hope you will enjoy. Then we will dive into the many, many dialects that we speak in Switzerland, and it will be very interesting. After that, we will have a short exercise, which is connected to some Swiss cities that I will introduce. And yeah, I hope that this exercise won't be too easy or too boring. Moving on, I will show you a few famous Swiss sites. Well, actually not too well, some of them are famous, but actually they're just my favorite sites that I think are worth to mention, because you can look up every mountain or something yourself. So I will just give you a little input of the Swiss perspective. And in the end, we will have a little Kahoot quiz. So, hi, I'm Diana. I was born in Zurich. More to that later. I will show you a few things about the city. I grew up in Uster, which is the city depicted in the picture above. So really green, we have a lake. I will talk a little bit more about it as well. 2 years ago, I went to Budapest to learn Hungarian, and there I met Saya. We were really good friends, and we still now and then have contact, and she introduced me to you guys. Now I'm back in Zurich and I study food science, and in my spare time I play water polo. There you can also see a picture of me. So I would like to hear a little bit about you. These are just some example questions. I mean, you can really tell me anything you'd like what you had for lunch, or just stuff in general you would like to share.
Okay, sure. Let's ask Donara. Donara, please.
Thank you. So my name is Donara. I'm from Nur Sultan, but tomorrow I will be in Almaty. So what do you do? I am a student, but now I have an internship in GIZ. It's a German organization. So I speak in 4 languages, Kazakh, Russian, English, and German, because I'm studying Kazakh German University. And what do you want to learn about Switzerland? So I guess I wanted to learn about system of education, and unfortunately I haven't been to Switzerland yet.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else?
Eduard, or I can start.
Oh, okay, Nila, yes, you can start.
Okay. I'm a molecular biologist. I'm originally I'm from Istanbul, Turkey, but right now I'm living in Munich, Germany. Turkish, English, Russian, intermediate level. Yes, now 3 languages I know, and it's about to start German language, and it will be 4th. Yes, I want to learn because I live in Germany. I have to learn. I have been to Switzerland, yes, I guess one time, but it's a transit, yes, flight, I guess, not I traveled, just.
You've been to Zurich airport.
It doesn't count, I guess, but it's pretty close. Yes, I should visit. Thank you.
Yeah, I would love for you to visit. I mean, you will see it's a beautiful country.
Yes, definitely. Aydar, maybe you can continue.
Okay, thank you, Nilay. I work as an IT specialist. I speak, like most in Kazakhstan, I speak Kazakh, Russian, and English, and I'm trying to learn French.
Oh.
I don't know much about Switzerland. One of my favorite sports players, Roger Federer. So he's from Basel, Switzerland. So I guess he's like, when somebody mentions Switzerland, somehow always my mind is connected to this tennis player, because he's quite well known, and he's actually, he's looking at his interviews, he seems to be a really nice, genuine person, and his also sport career has been wonderful. And unfortunately, I haven't been to Switzerland. Maybe in the future, and I want to learn maybe some sites, some facts. Anything about this country.
Yeah, cool. It's really funny because whenever I mention that I'm from Switzerland, the name Roger Federer always pops up. So you're not the only one. Yeah, but actually he recently moved to an area close to where I live, and he's building a house there, and I've seen it myself. And
wow.
No secret, but it's a pretty big house.
Wow, that's cool. So people joined. I see Gauhar, Saya, Dauren, Ayerim. So as you can see on the slide, we have a few questions in order for you to, so we would know you better. So if you want, you can just unmute yourself and start speaking. So maybe Gauhar. Or anyone else, yeah.
Saya maybe wants to say something.
I don't know if it's that Saya or another Saya, because
yes.
But maybe who knows?
Idil, would you like to add something?
Okay, hi everyone. I am Idil. I am Nilay's niece. I am from Turkey too. I am a student, and my major is guidance and psychological counseling. I have little information about Switzerland. I have never been there, but one day I would like to visit there, and this course will help me to know more about Switzerland, I guess.
Yeah, I hope so too, that you learned something today. Cool. So does anyone else want to share, or should we move on?
I get him. Are you there?
I mean, if people want to maybe listen, so I think we can move on. Yeah.
Okay. So now that we know a few things about each other, I would like to dive into the many layers of Swiss German. And as the name already says, we don't speak a distinct language. It is really close to German, like the German they speak in Germany. But there are a few differences. For example, Swiss German is called more of a Low German instead of a High German, which is spoken in Germany. And it is a Germanic language, of course. And there are a few differences in spelling of words, and also differentiation is quite different. More to that later. And we also have different, like a few grammar differences, for example, the diminutives. And also one thing that I find really interesting is the tenses. So we don't have as many past tenses as they have in High German, which for me was always kind of weird because it's the same language, but it doesn't have the same grammar. Okay, so before we speak Swiss German, I would like for you guys to get to know a few of the German phonetics. Most of them are vowels we call Umlaute. They also have this in German. Maybe, I'm pretty sure that you came across these vowels before if you have studied German. So yeah, on the red pillar, I show you the letter we have. And right underneath that, it's just an example of the word. For it is Rätsel, pronounced Oh yeah, and then the blue pillar, there's the phonetic letter. And I saw on Instagram that last week you guys had an introduction course to the phonetic letter system. So I hope this is a little short exercise to, try this out again. So yeah, as in Rätsel, and an English word would be aerobic. Then is Äpfel, which means apple. And in English, you would say flirt. Then it is Tür, which means door. And this was really hard to find an English example for, but I mean, like, sure, maybe could come quite close. And the last one is not a vowel, but it's something that Switzerland is really famous for, because this is what a lot of people struggle with when they are trying to speak Swiss German, and it's the sound. So it's a really rough that you pronounce with your throat, as in like Käse, that means cheese, best example. Yeah, so it's really similar to the letter Ch in the Russian alphabet, like хорошо. All right, now I will show you a few words that we use in really, really basic conversation. And one interesting fact as well is that many languages actually distinguish between polite and an impolite version. So polite version, if you speak to a person, or if you speak to a stranger or a person of higher stand, for example, a professor or a doctor or whatever. And then you have the impolite version, which is usually how you talk to friends. So I will read you some of them. So to polite person, you can say Grüezi or Guten Tag. If you want to ask how they are, it's Wie geht's Ihnen? And as an answer to that, you say Gut, merci. And to say goodbye in polite version is Ade or Auf Wiedersehen. And to Swiss, to friends, I usually say Hoi or the Ciao. Then if you want to ask how they're doing, you say Wie geht's, wie hast es? And an answer to that would be Alles easy bei mir und bei dir. That would be the question back. And to say goodbye, just say tschüss or biskli if you're looking forward to see this person again. So now I would like for you guys to have a short little conversation in Swiss German. I put a list here of the words you can use. I hope it is not too difficult to read. And also maybe a short thing to mention. In Swiss German, also one special thing is that before a noun, we often use the apostrophe, as you can see here in schön's höre or danke für die Nachfrage. This is also a difference between German and Swiss German. They never cut this, I don't even know what it's called, like particle, or no, I can't remember the word. Anyway, it is not too important, but it is here so we can have more fluency in a language. So would anybody like to have a conversation in Swiss German? Maybe we have 2 volunteers. Yes, Tanara and maybe someone else. Oh, and Saya. It is my Saya. Hello, Saya. So please don't hesitate.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry, but I connected this from my phone. That's why it's a bit hard to look at the page and turn on the camera.
But it's fine. If it's better for you, you can also turn off your camera. And
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Do you hear me?
I hear you very well.
Okay. I sorry, I missed the beginning probably. I'm here just for 3 minutes to say hello. Hello.
Hi. So
Guten Tag.
we can start.
Guten Tag.
Yeah. Wie geht's Ihnen? I really wanted to say wie geht's Ihnen.
Wie geht's Ihnen? Oh, I don't know. I don't know any German or Swiss German.
Yeah, that's why you're here, no?
Yeah. Wie geht's Ihnen? I don't know.
Mir geht's gut. Merci. Und dir?
Ich. Where is it? How can I say I'm good? Okay. Mir geht's gut. Merci. Sorry. Okay. I don't know you, but you're my friend now. Alles gut. Merci. And how you say and you? Und or not und?
Oh, I didn't write that. It would be und dir.
Und dir?
So. Nicht Neues. Danke für die Nachfrage.
Wow.
So, und bis bald.
Perfect.
Wow. Okay. Bis gli. I don't know how to read it.
No, that
Sorry.
was perfect. It was really nice.
Okay. Bis gli. Tschüss.
Cool. Thank you so much for having this little conversation.
Danke. Okay, Diana and everyone else, I need to go because my flight is soon and I am leaving the hotel right now.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining really quick. It's nice to see your face.
It's gonna take a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Saya. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. You too, guys. Thank you. I hope you have a great time right now. See you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, see you. Goodbye.
All right. Thanks for having this little conversation. I hope you could take away a few words. Now I would like to move on. And I would like to move on with Switzerland itself. So, as many of you know, Switzerland is a really small country in the heart of Europe. It's Fun fact, by the way, Switzerland is not part of the European Union, even though we're in the center of Europe. But we do have a lot of contracts that allow us to work really close together with the EU, especially since we're surrounded by pretty much all European Union countries. As you can see here, it's Germany, Austria, Italy, and France. And there's also this little country on the border to Austria called Liechtenstein. It is an independent country, but it's actually just Switzerland because they also speak Swiss German, and they have the same currency as we do, and they even have, or they are part of our military. Yeah, so in my illustration, you can see that Switzerland is divided into 4 different groups, as we speak 4 official languages, which are German, French, Italian, and Romansh. The biggest part speaks German. And also another fun thing about education is actually that all of the German part in Switzerland is obligated to learn at least one other official language, and for most of us it is French. So the Swiss German part, actually we all speak French, even though it is debatable on how good we speak it, because yeah, we are forced and nobody really likes to learn French here. But yeah, so we are able to communicate. And Romansh, the green part, is a country they speak only in the mountains. They do have an official television show in their own language though, which is really interesting. And it is a mix between Latin, Italian, and French, I would say. But it is also a Romanic language, just like Italian, French, and Portuguese, Spanish. So they have quite a lot of similarities. So moving on, small country, but we do still have many regions and many cantons, 26 to be specific. And cantons is just a different word for provinces. But quick input to the political situation here in Switzerland. Actually, our political system is quite divided because each canton has their own, they make their own law. Nevertheless, we all have to obey the law of the whole Switzerland. But these regulations have had a lot of difficulties, especially during the pandemic, because the cantons could decide their own corona rules, which actually led to a few weird things happening. For example, in Zurich, where I live, it is the green canton, quite above in the middle. We had to wear masks in the store. And in Aargau, it's the canton in orange to the left. It wasn't mandatory to wear masks to stores, so a lot of people actually just went to the other canton to go shopping. Yeah, but this also was kind of heavy on the pandemic because these different rules in the different cantons really split up the people, and there was a lot of inequality, and a lot of people complained. So we still have now a lot of difficulties between the rules of each canton. And even some of the school systems are different with each canton. Yeah. But these cantons, they are not only political borders, they're also more or less language borders or dialect borders, because with every 30 kilometers you move, they speak a different accent, which is really funny. And it brings a lot of diversity to Switzerland. More to that I will show you later. And even the French part, well, they speak normal French. It's not a different dialect or accent, but they do have a few different words. And one example that pops into my head would be the numeric words for 80 and 90. So in normal French, you would say 90 et 99. And in Switzerland, you just say octant and nonant. So I will give you a few examples on how diverse the dialects are. Here again, you have a map shown what different regions speak. And where I come from, this example, we speak of the leftover of an apple. And where I come from Zurich, we say Bütschki. And just a few kilometers to the east, they say Bitski. And yeah, another example would be Grötschi or Chnashi. And some of, like a lot of these words are actually also really funny to me because maybe to you they also sound cute and a little weird. Yeah. So the next example would be potato. And I would say herdöpfel. But a lot of different people say, for example, happere or gumeli. And I've never heard these words before. I just saw them on the map, but there are a lot of differences. And the last example would be Ameise, which means ant. And I chose this map specifically because I found it really, really funny. So people here in Zurich would just say Ameise because it is really similar to the German word. But there are a lot of people who say Hambitski, even in my region. And I truly never heard this word before. Or Umbaiski or Hampaiski. So not the whole word changes, but there are a few aspects that are quite different. And now I would like for you to have a short exercise concerning a few cities of Switzerland. Aitwar, I sent you a PDF. Maybe I can try to send it in the chat. So it's just a little word search that you can fill out. Let me quickly see if I can find the document.
I think I can send it. I have it here on computer. Let me check. Yes, I just sent to the chat. This is the Diana prepared. Yes, cities of Switzerland. Yeah. Do you see? So yeah, so you can on a computer you can find the cities there as well, because, and then yeah, and then we can send you the answers too.
Yeah, so I think you can do the exercise on your own, and I think it would be best for me to move on because it's already half an hour.
Yeah, maybe it will be sort of a home task. Yeah.
Okay. So in exercise you have to search for a few Swiss cities, and I will introduce you to some of them. Well, only 3 because there are a lot, and some of them are not too special. Let me start off with Bern, which is the capital of Switzerland. But actually, it is not the capital of Switzerland. It is called that because actually only the political headquarters are located in Bern. So that's why it makes it more or less the capital. But officially, there's no capital city in Switzerland because some of you may know Switzerland is all about neutrality, and we didn't want any city to be more important than the other. Yeah, that's something that a lot of people don't know, and even in Switzerland is not too known. It's actually not a too big city. It's only 135 citizens, and it as you can see on the banner above, they're really famous for bears. They love bears. And considering their accent, they also have a really distinct accent. For people like me who live in Zurich, Zurich people usually talk really fast, and Bern people, they talk really slow. Yeah, so we sometimes make fun of them. And another really nice thing that Bern is famous for is the Aare River, which is, yeah, the river in blue. You can see it on the picture. So this is the Capitol building. This is where most of the political decisions are made in Switzerland. It's a really nice building, actually. And sometimes they even have a light show onto the building. And this would be the inside of the building where all the delegates decide on laws. And on this point, I would like to give you a short input to our political system, which is really special. We are the only country in the world that has a direct democracy, meaning that every citizen is able to vote and also able to enforce laws. And the way we do that, we have to sign at least, I think, 100,000 petitions for your initiative to be sent to the Capitol House in a span of 2 years, I think. And then they will work it out, and it will be actually put to vote, and every person in Switzerland can vote whether they're for it or against. And another special thing about Switzerland is we don't only have one president, we have 7. And each president stands for an own department, like finances, defense, health, education, and sports, and a few others. I can't really name them on the top of my head. But they are backed with a party system. So we do have 7 or 8 parties, also moving from the left to the right on the political spectrum. And yeah, there are sometimes a lot of dispute between the parties. And another fun or interesting thing is, well, a phenomenon that actually is, I think, on the whole world quite popular, that the cities are often the parties on the left. They are more liberal and they're more open to the world. And the countryside, which is also sometimes really cut off from the world, given to geographic exposition, they are really conservative, really right-wing, and they don't really want Switzerland to change. They want it to stay the way as it is now. And this really sometimes comes down to hard discussions. And yeah, as I told you before, anyone can initiate an initiative. So meaning anyone can make a law. Whether it will be put into effect is, in the hands of the people. So another funny thing in Bern is the Zeitglocke. This is a really beautiful watchtower here. It used to be a guard tower for the prison in the center of the city, but given the expansion of the city, the prison was actually not in the right location anymore and not in use. So they just transformed it to a watchtower. Yeah. And the third thing would be the Berggrabe, which translates to, it's just a zoo for bears, actually. And as I told you before, Bern really, really, really loves bears, so they even have their own bears. And these bears would be Finn, Ursina, and Berna. And it's really cute. It's a nice little zoo that everybody can visit. And if you're lucky, you're going to see the bears. So the next city would be Genf or Geneva. And in German, you say Genève, and it is in a French part. It is actually, yeah, people here say that it's more French than Swiss because it is a really exotic city for Swiss standards. An interesting fact about Geneva is that it is a city and a canton at the same time. So it is a really small canton. And it's an exquisite city because it is on a lot of lists for a really expensive city. And one list I found, it was ranked the 7th most expensive city in the world. And it is really true because a coffee there is really expensive. And for students, it's not too good. Yeah. So Geneva is at the Lac Léman, which is one of the biggest lakes in Switzerland, which is also a border to France, sorry. And it is home to many international organizations. They have their headquarters there in Geneva. This is the Lac Léman. So on the right side, you have the Swiss part. And actually, this is a different view. So you can't see Geneva. Geneva would be on the other end because it is a little curved. And on the right side, on the left side, you have France. And one thing that Geneva is really famous for is the jet d'eau, which means water fountain. And it is 140 meters high. So a lot of people go there just to see it. Okay, now we move on. Oh, no, sorry, I forgot about this. Yeah, as I mentioned, it is the home of a lot of international organizations, which also includes the United Nations. And I think the World Health Organization as well. I'm not too sure, but I've been to this place and they actually have a really nice museum. So definitely worth a visit. And now we move on to Zurich, where I come from. And it is a saying in whole Switzerland that nobody likes Zurich except for people who come from Zurich, because we're really proud of the city. It is actually the biggest city in Switzerland, so that's why we're so proud. We have 350,000 citizens, which in international terms spoken, it is still a really, really small city. Yeah, so characteristic for Zurich, and also the thing I really love are the blue and white trams. As you can see on the pictures, they take you anywhere in the city, and it's really, you can get really fast anywhere. It's really efficient, and also just a nice ride. You know, if you want to get from A to B, you put on your headphones, you listen to some nice music, you sit in a tram, and it takes you on the riverside or through the Bahnhofstrasse, which is a really nice street. Yeah, you can really explore the city with the trams. And this is one of the most famous squares in Zurich. It's called the Sarcillute. I will tell you more about that. And in the back, you can see the Opera House, which is actually really famous, and a lot of operas there take place. And the Sarcillute, so the square, is just really big and it hosts a lot of events. For example, also the street parade, which is a really big parade, obviously, but I think it's the biggest techno event in either Europe or even in the whole world. I'm not too sure. Yeah, it's just a big square where people get together. You can have coffee, you can sit on the chairs, to put up chairs, and there are even some fountains for kids to play in. So, and also on this square, we have a really funny tradition, and it's called sarcillute, and that's why the square is called the Sarcillute. And what we do, it will be actually quite recent, so I think it's from 2 or 3 weeks from now. We have this annual event where a lot of people gather on the square and they run around this big fire. And what they actually do is they burn a snowman-like figure to predict how the summer will be. So if it burns fast, it will be a good summer, and if it burns slow, it will be a really bad and rainy summer. And this is actually a really old tradition, and yeah, it's for us, it's just, you know, a free day. We don't have to go to classes. So yeah, but it's, for me, I think it's a really funny tradition because every country has their own little traditions like this, and this one's ours. So now I will show you a few of my favorite sites that I think are really special to Switzerland. And the first one would be Jungfrau Joch, or Grindelwald. And it is the highest train station in Europe. And it's just really amazing to me that a train can go up to 3,000 meters. It's just really funny. Yeah, it's a planetarium, as you can see in the picture, and also a really important weather station for Switzerland. You can also go up there just to enjoy the view of the Aletsch Glacier, which is not really in the picture anymore, but it's a really nice view and really popular, especially if you go there in the morning before sunrise. You can see the sun rise above the Alps and also above the glacier, and it's just breathtaking. And also it is a skiing resort, and maybe you've heard of Lauberhorn, which is the location for a lot of international skiing races. For example, the Super G, if I'm right. Well, I'm not really into skiing, but yeah, this is a really famous international skiing resort. So this is the map of the train. And as I told you before, the train, it really goes through the whole mountain. I mean, I'm still now amazed. And it's a really nice train ride because at one point you just drive through the glacier because, well, then you're surrounded by ice, and it's a really beautiful view. And this would be the train. So outside, I mean, it's pretty idyllic landscape, especially in the summer with the Alps and the green fields, maybe some cows on there. And yeah, the train really takes you through the mountain. And actually, I've been there myself with my mom. So this is my mom. And this is a picture that I took from the view. And it's, yeah, I really love the mountains, and I love it when there's a lot of snow on top and you can only see white and blue. Yeah, and then there's me in the ice tunnels because it is located on the glacier. So it's a really interesting experience. And I can only recommend you to go there if you are going to visit Switzerland. The only thing is, though, the train ride is a little bit expensive, but it is definitely worth the trip. So the next thing would be in Zurich, and it is the Uetliberg, which is just, actually it's not that special, but to me this place has a really special connotation because you can see above all of Zurich, as you can see here in the picture, you can really, I think from here you can even see the airport, and just surrounding the whole city, you can spot where you usually go, which tram you take, where the schools are, where you live. Yeah, and then there's a little platform, you can go on top and you can see even more. And this is also really a breathtaking view of the Alps and also the Lake of Zurich. And personally, I'm just really into nice views of the Alps. A lot of people actually don't really care anymore. And this I really realized when I was away in Budapest, because there you can see the Alps. And here every day, if you have a nice view of the Alps, I'm like, oh, look at the mountains, they're so beautiful. Yeah, so I really like to go there just to enjoy the view. And the next site would be in my hometown, which is a little further away from Zurich, but still really close. And this is our lake. It's called Grifensei. And it's just a small lake, you know, nothing really special, but there are, again, a lot of beautiful sights. And in the summer, you can actually go swimming there. And another interesting fact is that boats with a motor aren't allowed. So you will only come across rowing boats, except for this one on the picture on the right, which is called the Heimat. And it is a really, really old steam boat. And it takes you from one end to another every day. And usually what we do at the Grifensei, we just have really nice lunches or dinner. We enjoy a sunset, we have a few drinks. And what my friends and I used to do in the summer, especially during Corona, where we couldn't go swimming in the pools, we used to always swim across the lakes. And that was really, really fun. So, oh yes, this one would be my last site, which is also in Zurich. And I think the takeaway message here is just to come visit Zurich because it's a really cool city. Yeah, this is the polibandli. It's a little cable car that takes you up to the universities. And I take this every morning and it's really nice. Just smooth ride, and you can also see a lot of things from there. It's also really old, yes, since 1889. And actually, they wanted to do a much bigger project. They wanted to have a cable car above all Zurich, from the lake down to the mountain. But unfortunately, it never happened because it was way too big of a project. And also it would have ruined the view of Zurich a little bit, in my opinion. And actually, I prepared a little video for you to watch. This is what I see every morning. Yeah, so moving on, this is the end of my input. And now I would like for you to play a little trivia quiz with me about the things you've learned. And yes, I prepared a kahoot, and I think I will start that so we can do it together.
Diana, so many new sites, really, really interesting.
Thank you.
And so actually, so the name of Grindelwald is, I mean, if you read Harry Potter, there's like a character with the name of Grindelwald. So I suppose it's from that train station, perhaps.
Yeah, actually, I just recently watched Harry Potter as well, and we came across the name Grindelwald, and we were amazed. But I'm not really sure if there's a connection. Maybe, but not to my knowing. Yeah, so I think I will just start the game.
So together we are gonna play, or if not, could you please send us this link?
Yes, should I send it in the chat?
Yeah, or yes, or maybe you can just tell us the game pin of your Kahoot.
Can you see it on the screen?
No, I mean, it's kind of very, very, very long. I mean, usually there's like a short, like 6-digit number in Kahoot, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I will send it in the chat.
Thank you.
the number. Oh, 1 second.
And let's check from everyone knows how to play Kahoot. Ajar, Gauhar, Saya, Sanam.
Hello, yes, we know. I mean, I know.
Okay, great.
1 second. I'm trying to find the chat.
Sure. Maybe you can, if you need, you can send me to WhatsApp. Then I will.
Yeah, that would also work. Hold on. So this would be the pin.
Okay, here's the number, Kahoot pin. Everyone, please put this into your Kahoot website or application. So let's check 8.
Aydar, could you please send us a link as well?
Wait, I think I figured it out. I will send you the link.
Okay, that's great.
I think it would be easiest if you put in the pin on the Kahoot website.
Okay, so you should create a nickname or maybe just add your name. And then Diana, you share a screen of Kahoot, right? As I understand.
Oh, you can't see the. Oh.
So right now we see your presentation.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. You can see it now?
Yeah, yes, now we see, yes.
Okay, I thought you could see the whole screen.
Maybe that's why we were sort of confused with pin number, sorry. Окей, окей, усі Ашар, Луна Роджер. Okay, waiting for more because there are 8 people today. I mean, well, Diana, so it should be 7 at least.
Well, some of them are on their phones, so it would be kind of difficult to play.
Yeah, probably. But okay, maybe they can just watch the screen. Diana, I just wanted to read your message. Saya, another Saya also wrote that it was an amazing session. Like you get to see those beautiful sights every day. I love the nature of Switzerland, wish to visit it very soon. Unfortunately, I have to leave you. Could we have a presentation that you have prepared? I would be most delighted. That was Saya. She wrote it just in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. I can send you the PDF of the presentation if you want.
Okay. So we have 4 people. If you, I think that's it. Yeah. So we can. Yeah, I think Gauhar.
So
Aliyah was on the phone, so I think yes. Nilay, are you here as well?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Are you in?
Yes.
Okay, then I will start.
Okay.
So the first question would be, how would you greet your Swiss friends? As we had this in the language exercise. Yay! So, yeah, you all almost got it correct. The question is how you greet your Swiss friend. So, grüezi, you usually say to a person that is estranged from you. But yes, these two options would have been right. So, moving on. So, oh, this means true or false, sorry. Switzerland has 5 official languages. Is it true, which would mean blue, or false, which would be the red one? Yes, perfect. It is wrong because we have 4 official languages, and these 4 official languages are German, French, Italian, and Romansh. Yes, exactly. Nice. Ooh, okay. So, oh no, I'm so dumb. Never mind what I said before. Oh.
It's okay. Now we know better about what are the official languages.
Yeah, this should be easy now. I hope you all have correct answer. Yes, perfect. All right, I think I will stop talking. Maybe I will not spoil everything. Okay, how many cantons does Switzerland have? And cantons are the regions that Switzerland is divided into.
I mean, it's really pretty cool that Switzerland has such a divided system. I mean, and everyone is so independent.
Yeah, that is true. But as I mentioned before, there were a lot of, like miscommunications during the pandemic. So it is really nice to have such a fractured state, and on a really independent level, you can have your own choices. But for a whole organization and a whole body of country, it sometimes is also counterproductive. Yeah, so the majority guessed right. It's 26. Perfect. So we'll move on. So Roger has the most correct answer so far. This is again true or false. So every 30 kilometers, a different dialect is spoken. Blue means true and red is false. Oh, okay, interesting. Yes, okay, it is true. And we've seen this also on the map because it is correlated to the division of the cantons. So every canton has their own dialects, and because they're 26 and it's a really small country, the accent changes roughly every 30 kilometers. Nice. So what is Romansh?
I actually never heard of Romansh before. I mean,
Yeah, it's not really famous. I think not even Germany knows about this language. It is really, really local. And yeah, as you guessed correctly, only a few people speak this language, and it is a mix between Latin, Italian, and French. And no, it is not a canton, even though there's a region that speaks this dialect, but it is not correlated to one specific canton. So next question. What is the capital of Switzerland? Might be a trick question. Yes. Oh, no. Yeah, so some of you guessed correctly. Officially, we do not have a capital because, as I told you before, we are all about neutrality and we want every city to be equal. Nevertheless, the political headquarters of Switzerland and the state are located in Bern. So that's why Bern is often referred to as the capital of Switzerland. But this is also a fact that not many Swiss people know. So I'm just going to let you in on that. So what is Bern famous for? Yes, okay. Looking really good. Yeah, they're really famous for bears, as you could also see on their banner, which depicts a bear. And like I mentioned before, as a joke we all have here in Switzerland, we make fun of the Bern accent as it is really slow compared to other accents. And most Olympic skiing athletes come from Bern. Honestly, could be true, but I don't know. I don't think it's correct because a lot of different athletes come from different places and the Alps are really big. So no, they don't always come from Bern. Okay. Aituari, I see you have taken the first place. So this is again true or false. Is Geneva a city? Is Geneva a city and a canton? Is it true, which would be the blue one, or wrong, which also would be the red one? Oh, okay, most of you guessed correctly. Yes, it is a bit tricky because it is a city and a canton, which is quite special. But given the circumstances, it is a really small canton, and that's why it is correct. So next question. Which city is the best? This is a really, really distinct answer you have to give. Yeah, okay, most people guessed correct, but because Switzerland is all about neutrality, of course, every city is a really nice city and there is no best city. That was a trick question. So how do Swiss people predict the summer? Also a really interesting fact. Maybe a little weird. Yes. So most of you guessed correctly in the connection to what I was referring in the presentation. We do blow up a snowman-like puppet, and the holiday is called sarcillute. But of course, most people in Switzerland, we just check the weather forecast. I mean, this is just an old tradition and not really accurate at times. So next question, what is especially high in Switzerland compared to all of Europe? Okay, yes, mountains are wrong because actually the highest mountain of Europe is not in Switzerland, it is in France. So that's why I marked it as wrong. And the thing I was referring to in the presentation, yeah, it was a train station from Jungfrau, which is 3,000 meters high. And it is also called Top of Europe. And something I didn't mention was the cheese consumption. And it is really true, not even in Europe, but Switzerland has the highest cheese and milk products consumption in the whole world. Yeah, I didn't add this into the presentation because there was not really a good fit, but because I study food science, this was one of our topics because, yeah, Switzerland is really high in this state. So again, true or false, the highest mountain in Zurich is over 1,000 meters high. Blue again is correct and red would be wrong. Okay, interesting. No, it is not over 1,000 meters high. It is 800 meters high. And this is mostly because it is not part of the Alps, because Zurich is kind of far away from the Alps, even though the view might trick you sometimes. Yeah, so it's not 1,000 meters high. Okay. So where does the polibandli take you to? Okay, interesting. As I mentioned, the polibandli is the tiny little cable car in Zurich, and therefore it cannot take you to the top of Europe because this would be the train station at Grindelwald. But it does take you up to the university district, as I take this little train every morning. So next question. I think this will be, yes, this is the last question. Do you want to visit Switzerland? Okay, yeah, I guess both answers were correct because, I mean, if you want to go to Hawaii, I can't stop you, but this result makes me really happy. Cool. So now we'll see the rankings. Yay! So like always, Roger Federer wins. Cool. So 1 second. I will share my presentation again, and I think I have to change this. Yes, okay. You can all see my presentation, I hope. So this takes me already to the end of my input about Switzerland. And now I'm here to answer any of your questions regarding anything about Switzerland, as long as I know about it. But I think one of you had the question about the education system. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, it was Donara, but I think she had to go. She had to leave. That's why. But yeah, she had a question about education.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I can tell you a little bit about it. Well, it is quite simple. We have elementary school for 6 years, and then we have, you can go 2 different paths. You can either go to grade school, which is another 6 years, and it will qualify you for university. Or you can go to secondary school, which is 3 years, and after this you can attend an apprenticeship, which will qualify you for any job you do the apprenticeship in. And there's also a mix between the ways of education. So you can do 2 years of secondary school, and then if you pass an exam, you can go into grad school, which then also will qualify you for university. But one really special thing about the Swiss education system is that it's really transparent, I would say, because no matter where you start off, you can always do anything you want. So this means also if you did an apprenticeship for 3 years and you wish to go to university, you can again attend a different school that will prepare you for a test. And if you pass this exam, you're also qualified to go to university. And the other way around, if you went to grad school and you qualified for university, you don't have to go. You can also do an apprenticeship for any job you would like. And I think this is something really cool about Switzerland, that no matter where you start from, every door or every opportunity is open for you, and you can pretty much choose your own path.
That's amazing. So yeah, if you have questions, please, this is a wonderful opportunity to ask about Switzerland, about, I mean, anything about Switzerland. Actually, I've got a question about, I suppose there are a lot of foreign students as well, yeah, in Switzerland. So the country attracts people to study like a master degree, for example.
Yeah, so we have a lot of good universities, and they're quite famous around the world. For example, the ETH in Zurich. Actually, I know a lot of people who are in their masters, and they are from all over the world. Yeah, it's really amazing, actually. It's a nice network. But nevertheless, I have big respect for people who come to Switzerland for education, because you might know Switzerland is a really expensive country, but that is also correlated because if you have a job, you earn a lot of money. So you earn way much more money than you would earn in other countries for the same position. But this, this has an effect on students as well, because for people who have jobs, they can afford easily more expensive things. For example, coffee is more expensive in Switzerland than in Germany. But if you're a student and you don't have an income and you really want to focus on your studies, you barely have any money, and housing is really expensive. So this is one thing that kind of bothers me about Switzerland, because I also don't have a lot of money, and I'm a student, and I always have to ask my parents if they can give me some money. And yeah, it's just, even though if you work a few jobs, they still, yeah. So that would be a little bit bad thing about Switzerland.
Yeah, I see. But I suppose after finishing your studies, there will be like more opportunities, I suppose. That way you get this financial opportunity and so on. I mean, after finishing your studies?
Yes, definitely. Depending on which university you attend, you have a huge opportunity after in the world of jobs, and they will actually, oh, how do you say this? They will, they will want you to work for them. So yeah, this is a big plus.
Awesome. Okay, Nilay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Diana. It was like a meditation. I really want to visit there. Yes, as soon as possible, I'm gonna do that. Because I'm very close.
Yeah, stop by
And I will let you know.
Yes, that would be cool. I can show you around Zurich.
Oh, thank you so much.
I know everything about Zurich already, but
thank you. Same for me. If you want to visit Munich,
yeah, that would be cool.
you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing this very valuable information, Diana. I really love it. I don't know other guys what they think. I'm pretty sure.
It was amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Diana. This was, I was following everything along, and I'm so sorry I was partially inactive, but I did play Kahoot and lost, which means I have a lot of things that I remembered from the mistakes even, but I did not expect to learn so much. The information was so well structured. I just wanted to say kudos to your presentation skills, and just it was such a pleasure to look at everything, and your personal touch was the video. It was absolutely amazing.
Thank
you. Made us fall in love even from afar. We dream about visiting both now Nilay and in Munich, and we want to visit Zurich, the best city in the world. Thank you so much. We learned really, like I personally learned a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Those were huge compliments, really. No, but again, I would like to thank you all for this opportunity. I mean, it was also a good practice for me for my presentation skills. Yeah, and I think the goal for me was, for you guys to get introduced to where I live and how we live, and especially to have fun. And I hope you had a lot of fun today.
Yeah, definitely. Nilay, maybe could we make a group photo? Yeah.
Yes, let's make a group photo, guys.
Yeah.
If you are ready, could you please turn on your cameras? Just one photo.
Do I have to stop sharing my screen?
Yeah, that will be great.
Okay. Yay!
Okay, Alia. Okay, thank you so much, guys. It's really nice to see you and nice to meet you.
Thank you so much once again.
No worries.
Yeah,
Have a wonderful afternoon, and see you in Switzerland. Everyone.
Good night.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, but we still have time for some small tea or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much again, Diana, and really nice to see all of you here today. Okay, well, we'll have announcements about what next session is going to be. We'll post it like at the end of the week. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
So see you
Thank
soon.
you. See
okay,
you.
thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Take care.